Hello, class, and welcome to Dental Anatomy. I hate that I can't see you face to face, but one day soon, hopefully, that we will be back face to face. But in the meantime, we're going virtual, and we're going to talk about dental anatomy today. We're going to talk about the parts of a tooth. There's three major parts of a tooth, and on my model here, you can see this is a mandibular molar, which is a lower tooth. It has two roots. And you see the three parts is the crown of the tooth, which is the white area that you see here that's in the mouth clinically. And then you see the neck of the tooth here in the middle area, also called the CEJ, the cemento enamel junction, also the cervix of the tooth, okay, the same thing. Also, you have your root of the tooth, okay, the roots here. So the crown, the cervix or neck of the tooth, and then you have your roots, okay? Okay, if we look at a cross section of the tooth here, we can see that the inside here internally is the enamel. We can still see this is the white area. And then you see here it covers the bulk of the tooth, which is the dentin, okay? And that's the second layer of the tooth. And that is where sometimes when we get an area where our dentin tubules become sensitive, and that's where, like, if you're drinking iced tea or ice cream, also maybe hot coffee that could be real sensitive to your teeth. And then you can see where this pink area here, that is the pulp cavity. And then you see down the roots the pulp canals. And what that is this houses the blood vessels, the nutrients, all of our blood supply and nutrients to that tooth. So when your nerve dies in the tooth, you might have had a root canal or endotherapy or heard someone that has. That is because the nerve has died and the dentist has gone in and done some endotherapy or root canal, and they have drilled from the upper surface here, the top surface, the chewing surface, which is the occlusal, and they've drilled with their handpiece, and they've gone in and they've gotten some little files that they call it, dental files, and they'll clean all this area out, which is just the dead nerve. And that way it keeps it hollow in these roots because you've removed all the nerve supply, the nerve is dead, the nutrients, the blood supply. So what happens then, you just have like an empty shell. So they will go and they'll put in a rubbery material, which is gutta percha, it's called. And then that way to save the tooth. And then usually they'll come back and they'll put a crown on top. So anyway, a little bit lesson on endotherapy there, root canal. But anyway, you can see that also around this tooth here, the structure, this is the part that's in the bone, the roots, that keeps the bone, keeps it stable. And there's usually a little periodontal ligament, and that's just kind of like a cushion, okay, around the tooth, between the tooth and the bone. So we've talked about the pulp cavity, the root canals, okay, and this houses what? The blood supply and the nerve supply and the nutrients. And also you've got the bulk of the tooth inside is the dentin, okay, the second layer of tooth, and then you've got your enamel on top, which is chewing surface. So if we put these together, then we can see the three major parts of the tooth, like we've gone over, is the crown, the neck of the tooth, or the cervix, or CEJ, and then you have your root, okay? And you can see that our teeth, they have a lot of grooves in the chewing surface here. You can see the grooves, even the grooves on the outer side of the tooth, okay? On the cheek side and also the lingual side, the tongue side. And so my other little model I want to show you is you can see that our teeth have many shapes and sizes. In the anterior teeth, they're long and narrow, and those functions are for cutting and grasping a hold of the food that we eat and cutting it in two. And then you have your canines, okay, on the corners of the mouth, and they are for tearing and piercing the food, okay. And then also you have your premolars and your molars, and they are like little grinders, and they grind and chew up our food, okay? So there's a purpose for every tooth. That is also for adult dentition and deciduous or primary dentition, children's teeth. So you can see all the curvature of each tooth, and that's because it has its own function, and that's why it is shaped with convexities, concavities. You can see that the chewing surface here has different grooves, and that's where you have a lot where if you're not brushing properly, microscopically, that bacteria plaque can get in there and can cause caries. So you want to make sure that you're chewing, that you're brushing all surfaces of the teeth, okay? The tabletop or the chewing surface, also the facials, okay? Then you want to also the linguals, which is the tongue side. And also you want to brush your tongue and the roof of your mouth. So we've gone over a little bit of patient education here, and we've gone over the main parts, major parts of the tooth. And then also we've gone over the internal parts of the tooth, talking about the pulp cavity and the dentin, okay? So that's your dental anatomy lesson today. If you need to call me or text me or email me, please do. Feel free to. And if I'm open for any questions that you may have. Also, look in your dental hygiene manual textbook, and you will find all this in your chapter reading. Okay? Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you face to face. Thank you. Bye-bye.